What's up, guys? I forgot to show you guys last video, the day before we got our new chicks. Our old chicks started laying, so we got one egg yesterday, and then we got one egg today, which is the day we got our new chicks. So that's exciting. It's a little tiny one. Oh, it'll start growing when as they keep laying, but that's so exciting. I have my basket because I'm going to be going outside and cutting onion tops. My onions have been in the ground since December, the mid-December. It is now mid-March, and I want to cut the tops so that will give more energy to the plant to start focusing on bulbing up. I did go ahead and spoon around the plants. If you don't know what spooning is, I'll show you when we get outside, but let's go. So we are outside with my onions. Let me turn you around. So these are my onion plants, and basically what I did was just go around and move my finger around the bottom of the plants so that they can have room to start bulbing. As you can see, that one is starting to bulb, and so is that one. But I am going to take off about 3/4 of the tops so that and I'm going to dehydrate them, and then it will give more energy for the onions to bulb. So that is what I'm going to do here. So I've read that each one of these leaves shows how many rings around the onion. So this has 3, 6, this has 7, so that the onion would have 7 rings around it. So that's exciting. What's up, guys? So it is the next day. My phone died yesterday, and then I had to go pick up my son, and it started raining and all the things. So I didn't finish harvesting the onion tops, but the onion tops that I did harvest, I went ahead and put them in my dehydrator. Let me turn you around. So I have a dehydrator I bought I guess a bunch of years ago. It's been sitting in storage this whole time while we were in our RV, but I got it out, cleaned it, and put all the onion tops. I think it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has like 5 layers, and I just added the onion tops in there, and I am going to dehydrate them. My original plan was to make onion top pesto with them, but I tried to go out and harvest the remaining ones today, and I was unsuccessful again. It started raining on me again, so I still have some out there that have their tops, and when it stops raining, I will go out there and harvest the rest of them and maybe make a batch of some pesto, or just chop them up and put them in the freezer. But the ones I'm dehydrating, I am going to use and dehydrate and then blend it and make onion powder with that. That was just the easiest thing I could do right now. I just took out my jars because I am going to be canning chickpeas. I have been soaking chickpeas for, I think I started them 2 days ago. I rinsed them and then had them sitting in the refrigerator. And now I am just going to boil them. They say you should boil your beans for 30 minutes before you pack them, but since I soaked them for 2 days and had them sitting in the refrigerator, I'm only going to boil them for probably 15 minutes. I have my pressure canner out. It's a Presto. I have it filled with the recommended amount of water, which is I think 3 quarts of water, which is 12 cups or up to that line. And over here, never mind my dirty stuff, I have my jars soaking in some hot water. You can see the steam coming from there. And I have my jars sitting right here. What I'm going to do is just fill my jars and to 1 inch of head space, and I'm going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt, and then I'm going to fill the rest with boiling water from the kettle. So I am going to add water to the kettle as well. This is actually only going to be my second attempt at pressure canning. I have water bath canned one time, and then I pressure canned for the first time about 2 days ago. I pressure canned some chicken. I basically just saw that there was chicken on sale, and I wanted to learn how to pressure can, so I figured the best way was to try with some store-bought chicken that was on sale. And it was chicken breasts. I just diced them up, I raw packed it, put some salt in, and pressure can them for the first time. And I have them sitting over here, all of them sealed nicely. I use the wide mouth canning jars, and it created chicken broth in there, and I just added some salt. You do not have to add salt in it, but I'm really happy. I got 8 jars because that's how many wide mouth could fit inside of my canner. My canner is a single stack, and so it could fit 8 wide mouth, or it could fit, I think, 10 regular size mouth jars. I have to look at my paper again. But how many ever it could fit, that's how much I'm going to fill up with these chickpeas. I have 3 pounds of chickpeas inside here. I know that you can do the, what is it called? The no cook method, or where you just add in chickpeas or any kind of beans, and then they basically just cook with the pressure canner. But I wanted to be able to fill my jars up to the desired amount of, like, right underneath the rim, which is like 1 inch. And all the other videos that I saw of people pressure canning without soaking and cooking for a little bit first, they always had like some more headspace, and I want to get the maximum amount of beans inside my jars. And so I am going to, you know, boil them and for a little bit, and then pack them in so I could fit more beans. That's just my assumption, so that's what I'm doing. I am also pressure canning now, learning how to pressure can now before harvest season, because when harvest season comes around, I do want to learn to pressure can my vegetable harvest. I've had this canner for more than a year. I got it when COVID like first happened. I was still living in my RV, but I knew that we wanted to buy land, and so as soon as I saw a pressure canner, I got it and then just put it in storage, because I didn't know when I was going to be able, like, if they're even going to come back, because all the shelves have been wiped off with all the canning supplies. So I've been collecting canning supplies since then. If you are new around here, my name is Dom. My family and I, we have 4 kids, and I have my husband, John. We moved here in October 18th. We closed on this house. We live on 2.6 acres, and we immediately started going to work, turning this into our homestead. We were on a wooded lot, and we added forest mulch and kept some trees. We did have 2 walnuts and 2 pecans that we kept, but I have planted now about 12 fruit trees, and I've been working on my front yard garden by doing a no-dig method. And so yeah, I'm really excited about it this year coming up, growing. My glass room is a mess. It has plants everywhere, no judgment. They're all on the grow station that I have here. They're all on the ground. They're just like everywhere. It's a mess in here. I have been bringing my plants out to harden them off, and so I haven't put them back on the shelves. I'm just like sitting them right there, especially like when it's like rains unexpectedly or something like that. We're just like throwing them in the house and then bringing them back out because our last estimated frost date is April 2nd. I have looked up to the weather up until April 2nd, and there's not a frost from now until then. But last year on April 2nd it froze, or then actually we had a freeze 2 weeks after our last expected frost date. So I am definitely still not ready to plant these varieties out there. Tomatoes, there's hollyhocks, there's peppers, we have marigolds, we have basils, we have dahlias, just all plants that can be killed by a frost. So I'm definitely going to wait until like the 2nd week of April to plant these out. My grow room, or my glass room as I call it, because it's all glass, it doubles as, when we first moved here, our house, as you can see, like there's stuff all over the wall. This is a mobile home, and we were fixing it up, but like it had wallpaper, this wallpaper everywhere. There's a big hole there, that's why my husband covered that. But it had this wallpaper, and it had cabinets and stuff that we took down because we want to do open shelving. But what's more important to me is not the way my inside of my house looks, but I wanted to make sure that I had the time to get my garden going. And so I decided to dedicate my time to getting the garden set up the way I want it, so that I could garden this year. And then when the winter comes, we will start working on the house again. I did, the only room that we got done in this house, well, it's not completely done, but it was filled with wallpaper, is my laundry room. The laundry room was filled with wallpaper. As you can see, I didn't finish cutting in the paint across the top, and I do have a boho kind of beaded light that was right there, but they wired this house crazy, and so when we tried to put up the light, there was some cross wiring and it kept cutting off the light in our bathroom, which is next which is across from this laundry room. But I'm very happy with the white walls and everything. I want to have open shelvings. That's my picture that I plan on hanging on that wall. And so yeah, so we're just dealing with how the house looks right now, and in the winter hopefully we'll start working on the inside of our house. So that's what's inside of my grow room. It's actually half of it is filled with like paint and like cleaning supplies and, you know, just stuff that you need to fix up the house, whether that be, you know, grout or compound or whatever, paint brushes, just all of that stuff. So it looks like, and all of the cabinets that we took off. We took all the cabinets from down here off when I thought that we were going to get the kitchen done before gardening, but that didn't work out. So I have not put the cabinet doors back on. I want to get granite counters or butcher block. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. My beans have been boiling for about 15 minutes, so I'm going to turn it off and start filling my jars. So I have my spoon here. I definitely have my jars in here, 10 jars in here, to keep warm, because this is going to be a warm pack or a hot pack method, and you want your jars to be warm because you're putting warm food in there. I have a funnel and I have no idea where it's at, so I'm just going to try and put them in there, and I feel like that's going to make a mess. So I have my son going to look in the garage where the rest of my canning stuff is at, to see if he can find my funnel. But until then, I am just going to continue putting these in here. Okay, so my son did end up finding my funnel at the end. I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of salt to each jar. From my understanding, you do not need the salt for preservation purposes, but I do want my beans salted already, so I am adding it. This is pink Himalayan salt. Basically, you can use any salt as long as it's not iodized. Add the water until an inch headspace. So I just have a paper towel and it has vinegar on it, and I'm just going to go around and wipe the rims of each of these jars, because you don't want any food that or salt that could have stopped your jars from sealing properly. I have my lids. They are new lids because this is a new pack of jars and lids. And they are clean. Have you guys started canning, or have you guys canned before? I went ahead and just got my jar lids on, finger so I could spin, and then now I'm going to finger tight it, just a little squeeze. When I canned the other day, I didn't have any jars not sealed, so I I'm hoping I have the same success with these. If I do, I have plenty of other beans that I would love to get canned. Just gonna sit that in there. I'm so excited for gardening season to start. What are you guys most excited to grow this year? I am excited to grow Lysianthus. I tried to grow Lysianthus, and I have a few that made it all the way through the process. I'm just gonna go ahead and put this lid on. And turn. And then I'm going to turn the heat up so that it can start heating. So while that is going under pressure, I just want to state, obviously I am a beginning canner, so yeah, don't follow my instructions. Always read your book. I am reading my book, my manual for Presto Canner, to know how to pressure can, because if you live over 1,000 feet above sea level, then you need, you know, extra time and all that type of stuff. But for me, I only need a 10-pound weight, which I'll put on once that starts venting. I think while I'm waiting and I'm in the kitchen, I'm going to go ahead and make some sandwich bread. I saw that we only have 4 slices left, and if your kids are like my kids, they tell me when they need a sandwich and then there's no bread. So I just saw we had 4 slices left, so I'm going to go ahead and make bread at the same time while I'm waiting on that canner. The recipe I follow is from Tangy at Freedom Homestead. It was like the best sandwich bread, and I use a Pullman loaf pan. I've showed my bread and the pan before on my channel, but I will show it again because I'm just gonna whip it up, and yeah. Okay, I have pulled my canner off of the eye that it was on, and I am just going to wait until that goes down, which lets me know there's no more pressure, and then I can take that off. I also have my bread baking in the oven. It has 11 more minutes, and my dehydrator is still going. It won't be ready until probably tomorrow sometime, probably like late tomorrow evening, but I will definitely show you guys an update on the bread and the jars when I take them out. So this is what the bread looks like. I am going to rub it with butter and take it out and let it and then let it just sit and cool off before I slice it and store it. Okay, so my seal venting thing had went down, so I can safely take this off now. So I have all my jars out, and we will leave them here. You can still see that they're boiling and they're popping. That's a good sign, and we'll check them in the morning. Okay, it is the next day, and I am just going to take the rims off and see if all my jars have sealed. Okay, so all of my garbanzo beans have sealed. That's exciting. My second attempt at canning, and they have all sealed. I have checked this morning, and there are definitely a lot that's crunchy, but we still have some right here that still need some more time. So we'll be leaving those for a little bit longer, and then when they come out, I'll just put them in my Vitamix and blend them all up and have onion top powder. So thank you guys for hanging out with me today and yesterday as I just got my pressure canning and harvesting those onion tops done. And I'll see you guys next time.